Right then, everyone. Waterloo Road Series 2, Episode 9. So, much like the show would go to be traditionally, this one this one does have a Student of the Week plot. So we have Dale, who is like super anxious of being at school. It opens with him in like the school bathroom. The school day's begun, and he's like skipping out. He's sneaking past Tom's classroom. He basically wants an escape. What's interesting about this scene is that when we see him in the school bathroom, we can see letters that he's been hiding from the Manchester Magistrates Court. That will later go on to become a plot device. So he sneaks back to the house, his own home. He gets confronted by his mother, who kicks off. She's complaining because she had to leave work again. She got a call. He promised he would at least give school a try this time. She feels very betrayed. She's stuck in some awful dead end job that's tedious, that she hates doing, so that they can have food on the table so she can support her son. She gets upset and claims that he used to be such a sweet kid. Now he's just moody, anxious, and just wants nothing to do with her. What I found quite interesting was, and I know it was an accident, you could see it in his eyes that he felt bad afterwards. He accidentally hits her after trying to stop her from getting to the police, who are trying to like knock the door down. This is a plot point that I thought the episode was going to come back to, but it didn't. I mean, she held no grudge, and at the end we saw that they had a nice resolution, and they told the social worker they were going to be okay, and it was nice, it was kind, it was a good ending. So as I said last episode, this is the first episode where I haven't watched it recently. So going into this episode, there was a bit of the unknown for me. Like, yeah, I've seen every episode of Waterloo Road. The first first 9 seasons minus Series 8, I've seen countless times. Series 1 to 7 and 9, I pretty much watch on loop. In a casual sense, sort of come back to it, watch bits and bobs, watch a few seasons, take a few months break, and then I'm constantly on off watching Waterloo Road. So it's nothing new to me. So yeah, the episode opens, as I said, there's that. Where was I? And then we see it sort of his story kind of progress in the background throughout the plot. Like, he is the character of the week, but like we see his mum gets arrested. She goes to pieces. She's meant to be appearing in the magistrate court, which was the letters. She gets arrested. Dale gets put into like a kid's home, and Kim is kind of there supporting him. But Dale's plot kind of overlaps and melds into the other main plot of the episode. I'll come to that in a minute. So Miss Campbell is looking out for Dale. She's like, Dale, you need to be in school. It can be fun. We'll support you. We'll do this, that, and the other to make it an enjoyable, reliable experience. He has his first drama lesson with Mrs. Redpath, with Izzy, and he connects with it. He actually enjoys himself, like Kim said that you would, or Kim said that he would. They're doing like an exercise, and Dale says it's more believable if they like interrupt each other right away. There's too much of a pause and it felt a bit stagnant, and he was right, as he was like, yep, Dale, that's exactly what I was thinking. And we see like Dale light up a little bit, but then in French he starts getting berated by one of his classmates, and then in English he wets himself and has a breakdown, tries running from the classroom. Everyone thinks he's done a runner, and he just starts hating school again. This is the thing though, so he's just anxious because he has was it overactive bladder syndrome? Some kind of bladder syndrome where randomly he just wets himself. It's basically like being incontinent, I think, is my understanding of it. So he's anxious about being in school just in case he randomly wheezes himself. He has the boxes in his in his bag that are wet, and it implies that it's already happened. Andrew at the beginning is just writing him off as like a bad kid who just doesn't want to be in the school, who's causing problems, and Kim's like, that's not fair, and defends him, and all Andrew's seeing is this potential bad kid who's just skiving, doesn't want to be there. So that's kind of interesting. Again, it's sort of more kind of background, but again, it does more for Kim and Andrew's character, because we see like Andrew admit to Kim and like pull a face about being wrong, and Kim smiles and smirks about it, and like again, it's the building blocks to Andrew and Kim. But I think when it's less on the nose and it's sort of stuff like this and it ties to a plot and the students, that's when I think it's really good. Like, that's the kind of relationship building that I prefer, rather than stuff being cringy and on the nose, like when Andrew and Lorna kind of saw each other at the beginning of the series, sort of. And even then, like, Jack kind of ties into it. At the beginning, when they're trying to decide what to do about Dale, Jack's like, look, I have to make tough decisions. It's part of being head teacher. He's ditched this much. We need to get the police involved. So Kim is understanding. She realizes his position, but she's ultimately not happy. So she handles Dale, as we've seen throughout the episode. So before I come into the melding of the plots, the other major plot is, of course, this is the episode that decides whether or not Jack will gain the headship. He's going up against a woman called Lindsay, who seems respectable and fair. She's very sort of corporate and sort of very much good at presentations and seems more like a higher up than someone who would be able to run a school. Like, she seems like she's too soft to be dealing with Waterloo Road, especially at its turbulent time, like at the beginning of the show. I mean, I know it was towards the end of series 2, but retrospectively, out of the 7 seasons in Rochdale, this is still very much early days. So Jack's worried because the competitor and the governor, Nigel, they know each other. Lindsay, Nigel is best friends and was the best man of her husband. Well, I'm assuming they're still best friends. They seem like they're on good terms. And if he was a best man, he'd be best friend. Like, I'm getting married in a few months' time, and my best friend Michael, he's my best man. So it makes sense. And back in May when he got married, I was his best man. So yeah, it fits the narrative. The thing that I think is quite cool is, so she gave her presentation. They're all won over by her. She's good at dealing with the kids' questions and the board's questions. And then right before Jack's about to do his, Dale kicks off at Jack and blames him for everything that's happened. He throws his bag against the desk, which hits Lindsay, and she makes some kind of like noise and is uncomfortable by it. Jack really calms this kid down. We see sort of like the grittiness to Jack, but in like a good way. Like, he gets involved. He grabs Dale. He's like, calm down, son, calm down, and basically talks to him. He does it in a good way. He talks this like upset, distressed kid down, and the board witness it. I kind of think that I prefer a version of it where the board decide, yes, Jack is the right man for the job because of that moment. It's kind of like, it to me, it feels like, so in series 9, Kim and Simon, Christine and Simon in series 9 are gunning for the headship. At the end of the first half of the series, so episode 10, Kim basically talks an upset mother and son down. She gets Connor involved. She talks about their struggles and how ultimately it's all sort of worked out. And in that moment, Simon realizes that Christine is exactly what the school needs and basically says, no, she's the woman for the job. Equally, again, they do a very similar thing at the end of episode 20, just really hammering down Christine's good character development. It's after Christine goes off the wagon and loses the headship, Simon's acting head. Christine is able to talk Gabriella and her mother down and basically fix a situation that's been building for episodes that Simon wasn't able to overcome. And then again, during that moment, Simon says to Mr. Bain, look, you may not be happy, but if you want me to stay at the school, Christine needs to stay as well. She's good. She's what the school needs. Ultimately, Simon loses the headship over this, but it's the same thing. So ultimately, what happens is the Lindsay gets cold feet after what happened. She doesn't think she's the right fit, so begrudgingly, the board give Jack the job. It works, and given that this is the first time in the show that this sort of plot happens, it works here, but I think it's stronger if the board basically say to Jack, you know what, after what we've witnessed today, you are the person for the job. Because this plot, as it stands, I think that they perfect it with Simon and Christine. I think it's much weaker here. But again, the only way I'm giving it leniency and thinks it can get away with it is because it's the first time and it's still relatively fresh in the series. It's kind of like when Max tries to force Rachel out and Jennifer's like, I came to try and talk you out of it. You're what the school needs. Or kind of like Lyndon and Kim, well, in the end, Lyndon's like, no, Kim is what the school needs. Again, it's a thing that happens fairly frequently, but this just feels like a weaker version of it. And I think if Roger's the only one who opposes Jack, fine, you can still have that be a little subplot. You could even show a segment of it. You could watch the board discuss it. And all of them could be like, oh, after what we saw today, Jack needs to be it. And Roger's like, yeah, but are we sure? I mean, Lindsay can do this, Lindsay can do that. He can be like, I've witnessed Rimmer firsthand. I don't think he's the right man, and so on and so forth. Because it feels that much weaker. I do like the little meeting at the end between Lindsay and Jack, and she's like, good luck, Jack, and Jack's like, oh, we've got cold feet and stuff. So yeah, not the best execution of that sort of plot, but I mean, it's fine. It is what it is at the end of the day. I made some more notes. The students interviewing the teachers was really funny. I loved how much Brett was sort of like berating Jack and just giving Jack the most difficult time possible. And we could just see the anger build up in Jack just trying to stay calm. It's like in Shrek 2 where Donkey keeps like badgering on and you can just see Shrek get more and more annoyed in the background. It's the last time before Donkey pops his lips and then Shrek's like, oh, are we there yet? But it's like the build up before Donkey does it. You can just see Shrek get more and more irritated in the background, which always makes me laugh. It was that vibe to me. And it's when Brett's like, right, I've made a list of all the teachers who cannot spell correctly, whose grammar is atrocious, and like Steph's one of them. It's such a funny scene. I love when Waterloo Road just has like funny scenes sprinkled into the drama. Like I think that intense drama, you need a little bit of relief. It's like I sent it to my friend Luke because it made me laugh so much and it caught me off guard. It's at the end where they're all toasting Jack becoming the head teacher. And then Grantley turns to him and goes, you're a damn sight better than a talking management book. I'll give you that. And then Jack's like, yes, Grantley, that's why I'm doing it and stuff. It was just, I love early Grantley's little snipey one-liners. It's when Karen is in it in series 6 and she wants all of the staff to come in really early for a meeting. And Grantley's like, oh, who does she think she is getting us in at this hour? Or when Karen first arrives and Grantley's like, oh, it's another lemon. Or when Helen introduces herself and Grantley's like, oh, I'll give it till the end of the day. Or won't last. No, it's Helen won't last a week. And then when he meets Daniel in series 7, he's like, oh, he's not going to make it through the end of the day. You just see Daniel rock up on his like bike. Yeah, no, I think this one was quite good. I like the way that the two plots kind of intersected, and I think it was a really good way to show off Jack's skills, rather than Jack just talking about it, or other teachers referencing what a good head teacher is. It's the fact that the board got to see it. It just feels like a bit of a letdown to me that the board didn't decide first time round, you know what, Jack's what we need. But hey, I'm happy with this one. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think we get the American benefactor, or the Americans tried to take over the school soon, because I know that's the last sort of mini thread. And I know that next episode is Lorna's exit. So got one more episode to deal with the Tom, Izzy, Lorna triangle, and then we're done at least with a part of it for good. And then in 2 more episodes time, we're done with it for good. So yeah, I'm really excited to get on to series 3. Don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed series 2. I just think that like when you get Rachel come into it and you've got Eddie, and then in series 4 we'll get the Kelly family, then series 5 we'll get Max and everything. I feel like we're heading into peak territory now, and I'm just really excited to talk about it. Right. Yeah, that's been my little discussion. So far, I've had a lot of great support for the podcast, and I just want to thank you all for said support. The comments are amazing. I love reading it, everything that you're saying. Your points are all great. Again, I'm trying to push this as much as possible, so if you're not already, if you could like and subscribe. I don't ask this very often. I'll just do it every now and again, but I just think we're almost at the end of series 2. I'm in a much better place, so the recordings will become regular again. I know I had a little blip recently, but I've just had a lot on, and will continue to have a lot on. But I'm in a place now where I can record a few episodes back to back, so all of August should be covered. So not to worry about that. Yeah, so that's been Waterloo Road Rewind. You've had Ollie, and I'll see you in the next podcast.